afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I'd like to welcome you, and I hope that you're going to have a very uplifting afternoon. I also like to thank the Atlanta Yearly Jewish Film Festival for inviting me to be here today to say a few words to you. My name is Ilse Reiner, and I am Carl Reiner's sister-in-law. Well, you can have him, so you got me. I know you would rather have the legend.
We can't have that.
But what can you do? He's far away. But I have a little surprise for you. Anyway, raise your hands, please. If you recall the embryonic days of television, mainly when families had just a big mahogany box sitting on the floor. It was either a Magnavox or a Motorola RCA. People invited neighbors to come and join in. The neighbors would bring a box of donuts, and they would all pile in and watch the Saturday night show of shows. Caesar with sidekick Carl Reiner. How many of you remember that? Got you. Now I know how old you are. Okay. Now I would like to read a brief little message that Carl is sending through me to you, as I had asked him to do. Okay, here we go. If you are in the Obit, eat breakfast. It was a project I enjoyed doing, and want to thank my nephew George Shapiro for providing me with it, prodding me into it, I'm sorry. When I think about being an actor, I have to thank my brother Charlie for my career in show business. I was 17 years old when Charlie saw an article in the New York Daily News about 3 acting classes that were given at 100 Center Street in downtown New York. It was a FDR government-sponsored project by WPA, which stands for Works Project Administration. For 5 cents, imagine, I was able to get on the subway to Center Street and enroll in a class that was taught by Mrs. Whitmore, an elderly British actress whose accent delighted me, and to this day I can still mimic the way she spoke. Once again, I have to thank my older, wiser brother for my not too shabby career in showbiz. I also want to thank my brother for marrying Ilse Reiner and making me an uncle of the wonderful children, Richie and Elaine, who is with me here today. I also want to thank Ilse Reiner for saying yes when my brother asked her, pardon me, in a hand for marriage. Now, I do like to mention the fact that Carl did me a favor about a year ago and did so very willingly. I'm a member of the of the Bremen Museum here in Atlanta. I've been a speaker for a long time, and so it's very dear to my heart. And Carl had agreed to do a narration for an educational Holocaust film, and we are all pleased to have that. Now I would like to tell you a few little things that you may or may not know. I hope it will be of interest to you. Many, many years ago, Carl had written a book. It was an autobiographical book, and it was entitled Enter Laughing. It was made into a Broadway play by Joe Stein, who was responsible for The Fiddler on the Roof. And then later on, they made a movie, Enter Laughing, with Jose Ferrer and Shelley Winters. And to some extent, it was a portrayal of my in-laws. Only you would know it. Now, let's see, what else would I like to tell you about Carl? Yeah, of course you know that he created the Dick Van Dyke Show. And that was such a marvelous, marvelous entertainment. Thank you. And that he did for great many years, and he'll tell you a little bit more about it, so I'll stay away from that subject matter. After the Dick Van Dyke Show, he rose to great popularity with his bosom buddy Mel Brooks when they did A 2,000-Year-Old Man. I'm glad you liked it. That made it also in England and in other countries. It really was enjoyed by many. After that, he did some writing and acting at the Dinah Shore Show. And it was Dinah who had really lured him to the West Coast. She had made him an offer to become a writer on her show. So Carl moved his family from Scarsdale, Westchester County, to Beverly Hills, and that's where he resides till this day. Now, as far as his other accomplishments, there are just so many, it's mind-boggling, really. Writer, director, actor. Now, as an actor, you might remember him in the film called It Is the Mad, Mad, Mad World. There were a lot of well-known people in that one. I believe Buddy Hackett was one of them. And then after that came another delight, and that was The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, with Theodore Beitel and Alan Arkin. And after that came a real goodie, The Jerk, with Steve Martin, excuse me. And that was just one little senior moment. Out of many. And then came Oh God, with George Burns and let's see, who else was in that one? John Denver. If I read my note, I would have been able to tell you. Anyways, Carl was asked to do a sequel at a later date. And he replied, that's not possible. Why? He said, God comes down only once. So there you have that. Now, we come to some of his directing of other things, but there are just so many of them to mention that I'm afraid we would run out of time. So, let me just wish my brother-in-law, and hope you can join me in wishing him, come next month, the 20th of March, a very, very happy 96th birthday. And I hope there will be several good ones yet to come. Well, that about wraps it up for today. Thank you and enjoy what you do see. I appreciate you running in here.